If you've been anywhere on the internet in the past week, you've heard a lot about the word justice. And as I've been thinking about this word and really contemplating what it means and what my part is to play, my mind was brought back to that passage in Micah chapter 6, verse 8. I want to share that with you guys today. In Micah 6:8 it says this: "The Lord your God has shown you what is good." And God has shown us how we are to live. And then he says this, and it's really powerful. He says, "You are called to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly before your God." God lays out these three things that we are to operate in at all times. And the thing is, during this time that it was written, Israel was enduring this time of incredible injustice. As widows were being forgotten, orphans were being rejected and thrown to the side, and there was just oppression all throughout the country. And there was so much injustice that people were crying out for help. And God spoke through the prophet Micah saying, part of your job at this time is to speak out and call people back to this idea of justice. And so in this first part, God says this really powerful thing, and it's very simple. It says, act justly, or do justice in some versions. And the point that he's trying to make here is that justice is an action we are all supposed to take. Each of us is called to step out, to make a move, to walk in justice. No matter who you are or where you come from, you are called to take part in this great mission of justice, to fight for those that are oppressed or downtrodden, the marginalized and the forgotten. You are called to defend them. I love what the Set Free movement says in their tagline. They say, everyone should be moving in the direction of freedom. And this idea is this, is that whatever you do, you're called to move in the direction of justice. May every action that we take, everything that we do, be moving in this direction. It can be small steps and it can be big steps. Make sure you're moving in that direction. And then God follows it up with this, which almost seems antithetical to what you would normally think. He says, you are called to love mercy. This can be a very difficult concept to think of because they have to balance each other out. While we pursue justice, we're called to love mercy, not just show mercy. Sometimes it can be easy to show mercy in specific circumstances, but we're called to love mercy, meaning we are to desire it, to be passionate about it, to be pursuing it. And that's very difficult because a lot of times we see these ideas as opposite, justice and mercy, but we have to find a way to balance the two, find a way to show mercy to other people, to show mercy to those that have done wrong. We have to set aside what we think we deserve sometimes and show mercy to people. When you show mercy to someone else, you're setting aside what you think that you deserve and setting them above yourself. We got to find this balance. We got to find a way to pursue justice and be moving towards it while showing mercy to those that maybe don't deserve it. The third thing that God says that I think is vital to all of this and really brings it all together is he says to walk humbly before your God. You see, he has these three things he lays out. He says to act justly, pursue justice, to love mercy. Then he says to walk humbly. And this might be the hardest part of all of it, because to walk humbly before God is to assume that there is someone higher than yourself that is in charge, but also to set aside your own rights, your own desires, and just to listen. That's what we need more of in our society and in our civilization right now, I think. All across the country, we need to all be walking humbly, listening to one another, listening to views that aren't your own, hearing people talk. Living in this city of Chester, I've had the opportunity to sit down with people from all sorts of different backgrounds, different races, different cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, whatever you want to say. And as I've had these conversations, I've gotten to understand where people are coming from. And guess what? That requires me to set aside my own presuppositions and just to listen, to walk humbly. And walking humbly before God also means believing that He is the ultimate judge, that He is going to bring about justice, that I don't have to always fight for myself. So as we live in this world, as we process through all the things happening in our country right now, I would encourage you to do this. How can you pursue justice? Just take one small step. How can you act justly today? What is one thing that you can do? How can you love mercy? How can you show mercy to someone that doesn't deserve it right now? And third, how can you walk humbly? Who do you need to listen to? What do you need to set aside? I think if we do all of these things, I don't think it's going to fix all of our problems, but I think it'll start to bring healing. I think it'll open up conversation. It'll help us all to come together. And maybe we can see a little bit of healing right here, right now.
know what? We back, man.
Yeah, right?
I messed up the mic.
We,
Reed, come on, Reed.
Come on, like this.
What's up, fellas?
there we go.
Yeah, we back.
You know what I mean? This how we do it around here. This stuff, man. Yeah,